Well, well, well. Look who we have here. Yeah, a little bit of live streams. Yeah, best ofs, massive beer awards, as I like to call them. It's my best ofs of 2021. Kinda, sorta. This actually covers a large portion of December of 2020, just because in order for me to kind of make these lists and go over what I want to be in them and all that kind of stuff, I have to do it kind of like before the end of the year ends. So, I kind of include some stuff that was actually I reviewed, and that's the sticking point in this. It's not the best beers I've had in 2021. It is the best beers that I ever reviewed in 2021. So, typically that encompasses kind of like starting in early December, give or take, right around like the 10th or so of December, and then runs to the following 10th of December. And that's what we're going to be doing here. We're going to do this in two parts, two separate live streams. We are going to do Shelfies. That's what this video is. I was actually going to do my regular ones first, but I gave myself an hour to do this one, and I gave myself an hour to do the other one. And I think the other one, being that it's 20 reviews, not 10, might spill over a little bit longer. So I moved that one to the end, and go over that. You know what I mean? Basically go over all the beers that I reviewed over the year in both of those videos, but more specifically in this video, it's basically readily attainable beers. And one of the big kind of revelations, I guess that would be the word I'm looking for, this year, is that when I was going through my best of lists, kind of going through which beers I wanted to be in the best ofs and the best shelfies, I had a lot of shelfie beers that made it into my best of lists. So I had to kind of be like, okay, well, I know I picked this up off a shelf, but I think this might be better off served in the best of category, only because of two things. One, it might have been a random pickup, like an old aged beer. I think that's what, more often than not, what these beers ended up being. And stuff that you might not be able to pick off a shelf. So this list specifically, I really did try to tailor to beers that are decently readily attainable off of a shelf. Now, with that in mind, you do have to keep the idea that where I live geographically, that really does come into play. There's going to be some beers on here that some of you guys don't have access to because they just don't distribute in your area. Not sure what to tell you about that. I mean, let's put it this way: if you were to travel in and around my area, more specifically, these beers tend to be kind of all over the place, at least in and around the eastern United States kind of area. They're pretty readily available. So if you're like, oh man, we don't get that beer by me, how is this a shelfie? That's probably more on you, or probably more on your local distribution footprint than actual me. So yeah, anyway, give a couple minutes for people to filter in. We're about 3 minutes in. We're already about 10 viewers. Thomas from Window Beer Review over there overseas saying hi. What's going on, homie? Hopefully everything's great with you, and hopefully you had a really good Christmas also. Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you may celebrate. Happy holidays. Yeah, I had a fantastic Christmas. It was really part and parcel of one. I really enjoy Christmas. It's kind of a weird thing for me, only because I am, very, not that I'm anti-religion, I just don't buy it, and with Christmas, a bulk of it, a good portion of it coming from religion, paganism and Christianity and things like that. You think with me not being religious, it would just not be my bag. It would just be something that I just wouldn't be into. I love it, man. I love the pageantry. I love the pomp. I love everything about it. I love the snow. I love the presents. And more specifically, me having a kid now. I love that. He is just, just a bit over 9 months old. So it's not like he can really even process what what Christmas is as far as a concept. But it was awesome. Because, the twinkling lights, the little outfits you put him in, the little outfits we put ourselves in. He actually surprised the crap out of me because he turned 9 months on the 17th. So we're talking about, 9 days ago. And we have a nurse that we deal with on the reg. And she kind of gives us a checklist of milestones they should be reaching. This is not me being whatever, but you know, Micah tends to be a little bit more advanced than that timeline, so she's putting on a month ahead, I guess. It's like, is he hitting his 10-month timelines on 9 months? Because that's typically where he's been tracking. And she's like, she listed a bunch of things. She's like, is he doing this, this, and this? And we're like, not really. You know, some of the stuff is our fault because we didn't really kind of work with him on that. But we're like, I don't know. And we got all bummed. Like, man, he's slacking. Like 2 days later, he's doing everything. Like he's climbing around. He's pulling himself up and standing. He can't walk yet, but he was so good unwrapping presents. I mean, crinkly paper. Kids want to touch that stuff. So it's not out of the ordinary for kids to dig on that stuff. But he was awesome. It was fantastic. Tony chiming in, what's going on, brother? He said, hope your daughter's first Christmas was awesome. He said sons. It was, man. It was actually absolutely fantastic. The whole part of it. The only thing that's missing is family, you know. Probably the biggest thing that's missing from most sane and logical people's lives right now is that hefty dose of family. Sure. You know, it's me, my wife, my kid, my mother-in-law, my brother-in-law, and his girlfriend. That's our core group. So they were all involved in Christmas. But our Christmas kind of environment, our typical Christmas MO is us being the hub of the family. Like we have everybody comes here. You know, Christmas Eve we have a big party, a lot of food, all that kind of stuff. And Christmas Day is kind of like everybody just come in and hang out whenever you want. You want to come at 10 a.m., you want to come at noon, you want to come whatever. We've had pre-prepared, we cooked food the day before. There's a bunch of food to eat. Let's sit around, have a good time, that kind of thing. And those are the things that I miss. You know, obviously we didn't do that because we are sane, logical people. And just missing that aspect of having family flow in and out your lives during the holidays, probably one of the biggest things that I miss. But you know what helps? Beer. Beer. Actually, no. What am I saying? I'm not drinking beer. I'm drinking near beer. Right now I'm drinking Athletic Brewing. And this is what we got on the go. For those that don't know, if you watch my channel, I don't know how you don't know, but I am doing a dry holidays in combination with dry January, so I'm kind of taking a time off from doing beer reviews. I haven't reviewed a beer in a month, a bit over a month and a half, a little bit over a month and a half actually, and just been, you know, kind of dabbling in near beer and stuff like that, and just kind of doing the whole hang out with the family with the holidays. Stop focusing on that. We'll be back in full effect come February. I keep saying we're going to be back in February. It's probably going to be closer to like the first week or two of February because I'm not going to review anything till February 1. Maybe I'll post something first day or something like that, but we'll see what's what. But, you know, I'm digging it. So there you go. So even near beer, there you go. That kind of helps and stuff like that. So hopefully you guys had a great holiday. Let's actually start wheeling, dealing, and dialing into this Shelfie category here. And we'll see what's what. So you guys are more than welcome to play along in the comment section. Actually, it's probably over there, right? Or is it down there? Over there? Probably over there, right? Because I'm using StreamYard. I'm not on YouTube. We're going to be dabbling in a bunch of different beers, doing a bunch of different stuff tonight. But this is the Shelfie video. This is stuff that is readily attainable for me almost whenever I want it. Some of these are seasonal, so obviously that comes into play. But this is stuff that I ripped on throughout the year. You know, I thought was really, really tasty stuff. And stuff that I went back to on a regular basis. Stuff I could. Let's put it that way. So we'll see what's what. Like I said, if you want to play and put your favorites over in the comment section, what really kind of was your great 1 or 2 or 10 or 50 or 150 Shelfies that really you kind of leaned heavily into over the past year or so, please do. And ask questions and do the whole banter thing. I always like that. Clayton chiming in. Stoker saying, what's up, Matt? Me and my 14th-old boy watching. He's watching Coco Melon. Excuse me. Well, he's watching Coco Melon. Goddamn Coco Melon. I don't mind Coco Melon. I'm very okay with repetitive sounds and noises. They don't really irritate me. My wife might be a little bit different, but we're looking to get him away from Coco Melon. We're trying to get... What's the Blueies? Bluey? Is that the one with the... It's a little bit more kind of, I think... I don't know. Maybe it's a little too advanced because it's more cartoon but words and stuff. It's not just kind of rhyming and stuff like that. But if you haven't checked out Bluey, give it a whirl. I dig it. So yeah, let's dive into video number 1. Let's see if I can get this working properly. Oh, look at that guy. He's handsome, isn't he? There you go. So, for those playing along at home, or not playing along at home, this is Wallenpaupack's Grodziskie. It's a Polish-style smoke beer. Wallenpaupack Brewing is relatively local to me. I want to make sure that audio is not... Actually, I can just go like this and look at the... Yes, it's not playing. They're local to me, but they do distribute outside of the state of Pennsylvania, I believe, and they go to a couple different places. Big brewery, like really, really, really big brewery that is up in the Lake Wallenpaupack area. For those that don't know, it's kind of like Pocono Mountains, but Pocono Mountains easterly. There's no easy way to get there. You pretty much have to go there on purpose. But since they do have a wide distribution footprint, it makes it quite a bit easier. But it's really beautiful up there. There's also a bunch of breweries that kind of popped up and around that area that I enjoy quite a bit. And, you know, this has been a year of smoke beer. It really has. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say I've been a smoke beer kind of junkie from day one. They have had time to grow on me. To be perfectly honest with you, it took a while for them to really sink in. You know, the old school Schlenkerlers, which I really do enjoy now. You know, when I first got into beer, they were a little bit too much for me. But my love of smoke beers has grown quite large and quite fondly over time. And more specifically, the lighter side of smoke beer. I do like the Doppelbocks. I do like those big Rosh beers. But you get those smaller kind of stuff like this. Like a Grodziskie is typically, you know, 3% plus, maybe touching 4. And you're talking about a beer that is soft, light, and drinkable with a little bit of smoke. I think it's fantastic. And as far as the Shelfie goes, this is something I've ripped a bunch of. You know, it was at a really great price point, which is can be a little bit of a challenge when it comes to Lake Wallenpaupack and what they do. Their stuff can be pricey from time to time, but it seems like they've kind of gotten a groove and a decent price point with what they're making, what they're producing. And this, I want to say, was like $13, maybe 12, 13, 14, somewhere right around there for a small little smoky Grodziskie. And I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I probably drank a case of these, and they probably came out in midsummer. And they just really kind of hit that spot when I wanted something smoky, something rich. You're going to see maybe a theme here. I forget my whole complete list of my Shelfies, but yeah. It just was one of those beers that I just found myself picking up over and over again. Since still work in Pennsylvania, it was easy for me to obtain because their stuff was widespread there. And there's this one little bottle shop in Stroudsburg, Brewski Beverage, they're called. They have a really nice selection. They would constantly have this available. And not gonna lie to you, would go in there, look for a bunch of beer, and eventually be like, you know what, I'm just going to grab another one of these. So that's why this one ends up being on the kind of whole Shelfie list and all that kind of stuff, because it just really is just a fantastically well done beer from a good little fun little brewery. So yeah, there you go. Wallenpaupack Brewing Company, it be their Grodziskie Smoked Ale. There's number 1. How about that? Trying to get these so they come up in some relatively normal order. Oh, look at this. We're going to be on to number 2 real quick. Let's jump into comments before we go to number 2. We have Clayton. He was talking earlier. He said about hanging out with his boy. Matt Meteor. What's going on, homie? My favorite Shelfies, Dovetail Coach, Maplewood Juice Pants, and Old Irving Beezer. I know Dovetail Coach. I've had that. I've reviewed that. The other ones I've never heard of before. I'm going to have to end up finding some of that. Clayton saying, after a 6-pack, someone asks you, what's the brewery? Lake Wallenpaupack. That's a good one. So there you go. Jump back in this second video. We're not, the apple is not falling super far from the tree on this one because we are basically kind of just diving right back into the same kind of beer. Jack's Abbey Smoke and Dagger. I crushed these this year. I crushed this beer to no end. This beer is available wherever I go. Wherever I go. It doesn't matter where I go. It's available. Well, I shouldn't say it doesn't matter where I go, and pandemic makes that few and far between nowadays, but any bottle shop that I roll into has Jack's Abbey, and more often than not, they have this beer. And it's just a small little smoked black lager, not a ton of smoke on there, you know, nothing too crazy. I wouldn't even put it at Rosh beer level smoke for those that don't know, little plug for my boy John Hall. If you don't know who John Hall is, you can go into our archives. See, we've interviewed him a couple times. He's one of the leading beer journalists in the United States. Worked for All About Beer magazine, every beer magazine you probably can think of. He's on his own now. He actually is a co-host of the Steal This Beer podcast, but he has his own kind of beer information source now called The Beer Edge. Him and Andy Crouch, the seminal curmudgeon of beer, and they have a small little offshoot of that called This Week in Schwarzbier. I got a sticker there floating around. Actually, I think it's on here on the other side because I moved my stuff around. But This Week in Schwarzbier. If you like smoke beers, go on Facebook, type that in, check it out. Instagram, all that stuff. Anyway, yeah, this is just like you can find this anywhere. So it'd be one of those things where I want something rich, I want something malty, I want something smoky. The kicker. But I also want something that's decently priced. I think I was ripping these 4-packs, 16-ounce cans, $9 a pop. I mean, good beer is worth money. You shouldn't sit here and say good beer isn't worth money. It should be, you pay for what you get, all that stuff. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't agree with that. I would 100% agree with that. But the big sticker on there is, shut up, my thing was making something. What happened? I'm trying to edit something right now while I'm doing this. There you go. But the ability to get something this well made, this fantastical, super great price point is pretty awesome. You know what I mean? Like it just ends up being like just kind of checks all the balances, and checks all the boxes, and ends up being just a fantastic beer. Drinking it out of that sweet dimpled mug that I know my my boy Rob from Hopzine over in the UK loves that thing so much. Man, I wish I had one of these right now. I wish I had a non-alcoholic version of one of these right now. Non-alcoholic smoke beer. Is that a thing? Can we do that? Yeah. Anyway, so, yeah, it was rich. More, like I said, the kind of thing like a Czech lager without a super hyper bitterness, but a nice soft smoke to it. So it's not like more like softer kind of super smoke, but a softer smoke in a Czech kind of style lager. It's really good. And honestly, if you're going to sit here and talk about lager producers, craft lager producers in the United States, I mean, it's Jack Savvy, right? I mean, you could go Bierstadt Lager House. You can go a bunch of other places. But as far as longevity, production, and just getting it the F done, they're kind of the best. So it kind of makes sense that they would make something so great. So yeah, if you haven't had this beer, I know they have a wide reach as far as distribution goes and all that kind of stuff. If you have not had this beer, I implore you, I say, that beer right there, burps, that beer you need to get. So there you go. Look at this. We're humming along. Comments. Chuck's in the chat. What's going on, homie? Half Acre Daisy Cutter, Shelfie of the Year every year. And that's true. See, the thing with me, Shelfies, though, the Shelfie has to be a beer I reviewed the previous year. 2021, it has to be a beer that I reviewed. And I didn't review Daisy Cutter. I don't think I did. Did I review Daisy Cutter? I don't think I did. If I did, I could have put it in. So it has to be... I didn't realize you guys get a sneak preview of the next video that's coming up right there. I did not know that. Yeah, too bad. I mean, if you could read that, you should work for, I don't know, NASA or something, right? Anyway. But the other thing is Daisy Cutter tends to be, I find Daisy Cutter tends to turn quite easily with not optimal conditions. A decent heat, maybe even a long non-refrigeration process, because this is very, very dicey when it comes to like me picking up like 4-packs or even like the 12-packs of Daisy Cutter. Sometimes they're great, and sometimes they're a little bit oxidized, and honestly, I think that's just people are just not taking care of them the way they should. So out by you, I assume they're going to be hyper fresh almost all the time, whereas me, I might get them a couple months old. Might have been sitting on a shelf a little bit, something like that. But when it's on, that thing is on. And Matt concurs. This is absolutely 100% a Shelfie. By me and by a lot of people, because I know they have a footprint that is quite large. And that would be this beer right there. This guy. If you can't see, because my big fat head's blocking you, I don't think, can I move that, move my head around? I don't know. Can I? That is North Coast Old Stock. That is their 2021. Now, I picked this for a little bit of selfish reasons. This is my Micah beer. For those that don't know, my son was born in March of 2021. And what I did was I went out and bought myself a case of, well, more than one case, a couple cases of Old Stock 2021, and I will review this beer on his birthday every day until he is old enough to drink, and then we'll review one together if he cares to review the beer with me. That's on him. He doesn't have to drink if he doesn't want to. He doesn't have to do anything. I keep telling my kid, he doesn't have to do anything. He can do whatever he wants, except for be president or play football, because I don't want him to die early or die early. Anyway, it's a half joke. Anyway, so I kind of wanted to put this. Oh, I'm gonna get an ad on this. You guys get to watch an in-time ad. How horrible is that? Yeah, ads on my own videos. How about that stuff? Oh, I could skip it though. As much as I love Ryan Reynolds' face. No, I can't. Look at how small he is. Oh my God. I can't believe how small he is. He's so active and so intelligent. Look at it. Oh my God, that kid is gorgeous. I'm just gonna start crying or something like that. Anyway. Yeah, that was, I forgot he was in the video, to be honest with you. So I kind of wanted to put this video in anyway, just because it was just me kind of talking about my kid and get to be selfish in that way. No, North Coast Old Stock rarely ever drinks great off the shelf. This one did. Now, is that, preconceived notion, a little bit of whatever, because it's my kid and I associate the beer with him? I don't know. I don't think that's the case. I think this is by far and away one of the best, fresher versions of North Coast Old Stock that I've had in quite some time. It drank so rich and so decadent and so delicious out of the chute that, goddamn, did I like this beer. A lot. So it had to be on here. Probably a little bit higher. I kind of, for full disclosure, I put these lists together quite quickly this year for a couple of reasons. One, I hadn't been doing any beer stuff, so the motivation of it wasn't really there. Sometimes I'll get a couple of the beers that are on a list and drink them and be like, oh yeah, I remember loving this. So that didn't happen. The other thing is, what I basically do is I export all my videos from the past year from YouTube, and then into an Excel sheet, and then I go and kind of, cut all the ones I know are definitely not going to be on the list, and then I start ripping ones that I think should be on the list on both sides, and then whittle it down over time, and then create two tabs in the Excel sheets, one of Shelfies, one of the better ones. And I got all the way to the point where I had them separated, and I just had to whittle down from 20 to 10 on the Shelfie, and then from 40 to 20 on the thing, and I don't know how, but I lost the Excel sheet, so I had to start over. So I was like, screw this, I'm not doing this. I did. But I like, about 15 minutes before I went live, I was still editing those Excel sheets. So that's how kind of willy-nilly crazy this kind of got me. So, but it was absolutely fantastic beer. I love it. I've had a couple since, because I've been curious to see how it aged over the past year, and it is by far and away one of the best. Like I said, fresher North Coast Old Stock, rich, decadent. It already has a little bit of brandy notes, a little bit of kind of toffee thing going on, even at its young age, and just going to get better over time. So I know North Coast has a big footprint. So if you guys can get a hold of this one, and you like barley wine, that's the big one here. If you do really like barley wine, and this is something you're into. Ooh. Pick it up. I'm gonna crack me another beer. I found this brewery today. Or not today, this past week. Never heard of them. Well-Being. Victory Wheat. The thing that really kind of I'm curious about this, and this will come into play later in the Shelfie videos, is that this is brewed and bottled for well-being brewing by O'Fallon Brewing, Maryland Heights, Missouri. That'll come into play. You'll see why that matters later, because one of them O'Fallon's beers is on this list, by the way. What was I going to say? Oh, and the whatchamacallit, I picked it up on spec. Like usually with these non-alcoholic beers, I'll like being like see how they rate and all that kind of stuff. And come on, and I can get rid of that just to see if they're kind of halfway decent. And I didn't even do that with this one. I'm like, O'Fallon, they make great beer. I'm like, I'm just gonna buy it. So let's see how much we got. A little over half an hour left. I should be perfect on the timing on these, I think. So let's go to the chat in between each one of these videos and see what's what. Oh, Bill Bach. What you drinking, Bill? Bill's always drinking something I want to drink. What's going on, homie? Hopefully you had a great holiday. Clayton said, told my kid he can be anything he wants as well, except a Packer fan or a Cardinal fan. Unacceptable. So you're a Vikings fan, right? It has to be. Or Bears. Sorry. Probably Bears. Bears or Vikings. And I have Nate chiming in saying, oh, this is good. This is really good. It's a citrus based wheat with a hint of orange. Sports brew. What's sports brew mean? I don't know what sports brew means. This is really good. Oh, that's the name of the beer. Sports brew? Victory Wheat All Natural Sports Brew. Okay. This is really good. It almost has like real lemon zest in it, or orange zest in it, which I quite. The Bears. Yeah. I figured as much. The owners of Hot Butcher, I should say, when I say owners, I mean Jeremiah and Jude. They're probably more people involved in that, but the two people I know, one's a Packers fan, one's a Bears fan, and so it's kind of fun to see them go back and forth on the DL, because that's such a weird combination. You know, when you're boys with somebody, you know, you get to bust their chops about that stuff, but 'tis what it is. But yeah, I'm really digging this sucker. So yeah. Oh, okay. Starting to get real now. Let me make sure I am on pace here. You guys can't see that. Number 7. Okay, good. That's where I want to be. Number 7. Number 7, baby. Come on. A little bit of Honey Brown up in this piece. Genesee Honey Brown Lager. Man, this beer was a kind of what's the word I want to say? It hit a bunch of different spots for me. In that, you know, the Honey Brown from it used to be Dundee Honey, not JW Dundee. Was it JW Dundee or it was Dundee's Honey Brown Lager that used to be produced by Genesee under that Dundee label? Was an old school beer that I used to drink, and it kind of just disappeared and went away. And then Genesee decided to bring it back, and I'm going to tell you right now, you know, for a macro-esque kind of beer, because you have to understand, Genesee is kind of small. Like, a lot of people think about Genesee, especially that live kind of in this region, because you don't see them they don't distribute, like, there's a bunch of breweries, craft breweries distribute way farther away than Genesee does. They're kind of looked at as a macro brand, but they very much are not macro. They're very much kind of in tune with the craft culture. They do a lot of small crafty beers. They do collabs with the likes of Other Half and things like that. But this is definitely one of their kind of macro-esque kind of offerings. And at $8 a 6-pack, you're going to be hard-pressed to find something just generally delicious drinking. They call it a Honey Brown Lager. It's more, just think of a Kolsch with honey in it. That's kind of what it is. I don't remember it giving me huge kind of lagery vibes. Actually, it might be Honey Brown Ale. I might be wrong on that and calling it I might be calling it like the wrong thing, but regardless, it's a super drinker, super chugger, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna say, you know, it brought back a little bit of memories, you know, of drinking the Dundee's version of this in the past. But man, at that price point, you know what you get, how it drinks, all those fun, fantastic things. It's really, like I said, it's hard pressed to find something that drinks that much better. You know. Yeah, I don't know what else to say other than I love the goddamn crap out of that beer. Yeah. I'm watching my kid right now. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. We have one of those kind of cameras that kind of just sits and floats above the crib, and he's napping, and I don't know, I just like it. What can I say? But anyway, back to the beer. He's the best, my kid, and this beer is one of the best Shelfies. Oh, goddamn it, another ad on my own goddamn channel. I wanted to go in and see if I could shut all ads off just for this video, but it is what it is. I don't know if clicking on your own videos makes you money, so this dude making that paper. But yeah, I mean, let's put it this way. Two things. Jenny might come up in this list again. Actually, it is. If you're ever up in the Rochester area, there's a bunch of great breweries up there. You know, other half is up there now. You have Mortalis, you have Fifth Frame, you have like a bunch of different breweries floating in and around, and ones I forget that I should really be mentioning, but I'm not. There's a bunch of great ones up there. Jenny is definitely something you should hit, especially if at the time. Sure, you're passing through, you hit one or two places, you're really deep in a craft beer. It's probably going to be Mortalis and other half because they're not too far away from each other, blah, blah, blah. I get it. But if you have the time, man, do not sleep on Jenny. On the tap house, everything, their tap house, their brew house offerings are quite fantastic and just a great brewery in general. We'll cut this short because, like I said, Jenny's going to come back up in this list, so we'll see what's what. Yeah, look at that guy stretching. Oh, my God. Look at this. Anyway. Okay. Let's get back to normal view. Click over here. Oh my God, next beer. I forgot about this beer forever. And I was super like blown away when I drank it again for the first time in years. And it's absolutely Shelfie. But we're gonna go to the comments first. So, comments. Oh, Steven, what's going on, homie? The great Steven of Beer Mail fame, and not just my channel, but Nerd Sense, No Hype, 93 Lumber, FLX Beer Reviews, Joe from the Beer Patrol. If you don't follow those guys, do me a favor, go check them out. You know, especially if you're regionally, you know, if you don't, they're all in the Northeast. So if you drink Northeast beer, you're in the Northeast beer. You know, they're all great. You know, Kyle has a great filing at No Hype Beer Reviews. You know, the Nerd Sense guys are chugging along doing their thing. Keith is my boy, so I always kind of prop him up. But the guys from FLX, oh, Joe from the Beer Patrol, he's just crushing it. But the FLX guys, they just hit 200 subs, which is great, but they probably deserve a little bit more from that. So if you're not doing anything, you're feeling a little bit chippy, feeling a little bit cheerful, go over to FLX guys right now, pause this video, or just jump over, subscribe to them. Just do them a little solid. Anyway, he says, cheers, homie. Got you on in the background while I'm packing up Nerd Sense's belated Christmas package. Belated. Ooh, okay. They will be absolutely ecstatic to receive that. I can't wait. It's been fun watching all the unboxings from everybody that you sent beer mails to. And honestly, just to, you know, I would show you right now, but my door is closed, but that Christmas card's still hanging on my fridge, brother. I'll be up there till the new year. Thank you very much. Hopefully you had a great Christmas with you and yours and your family, and Santa did you proper. Because if he's going to do anybody proper, it should be you. Just saying. I really like this. This is really, really good. Tart. There's this tart acidity to it. It reminds me of, this is not a bad beer. It's like a fake. It's very similar. It's the Dogfish Head Lemon Quest, which is their non-alcoholic wheat brew. Akin to that. But I think the Well-Being one is quite a bit nicer. Just reminds me more of a wheat beer with a little bit of orange in it. So, speaking of wheat beers, let's go on to, well, we got to do the last comment before we jump on there. We have Matt saying, try Genesee Cream Ale for the first time recently. I'm a fan, honestly. You know, it is, again, very much Macrass stuff. It's not, you're not going to sit there and be like, wow, this is the end-all, be-all of beer. No, but, you know, it's Genesee Cream Ale, man. It's delicious. And if you like beer, not just hazies or pastry stouts or all that, if you like beer, you will like that. Because guess what? 'Tis beer. 'Tis beer. So, like I said, speaking of wheat beers, we have Weihenstephaner. It's their Krystall Weiss. Krystall Weiss beer. I had not had this beer like dead serious. 20 years, maybe? 20 years? It's actually a weird one because it is a Shelfie, but I rarely see it. Like, it's Weihenstephaner. It's pretty much their whole catalog is relatively readily available, but I don't remember seeing this. Now, since I got it and reviewed it in this video, I've seen it one or two other places. So it's not, I think maybe it's just out of sight, out of mind kind of thing, or out of mind, out of sight. I went to, there's this cool little beverage beer distributor place that is in Blakesley, I think this is Blakesley Beverage or Blakesley Distribution or something like that. Blakesley, PA. If you've ever traveled on 80 or the Turnpike, northeast, words are hard, on the northeast extension of the Turnpike in Pennsylvania. So that means you're 80 west, 80 east, or you're on the Turnpike going north or south. We're 80 and the Turnpike meet, that's Blakesley. That's actually the town of Blakesley. And this beer distributor is right off that. No, I'm lying. Kind of, sort of. I would say maybe it's like 5 to 10 minutes off that intersection. Let's put it that way. And they have a really cool selection there. They have new school stuff, a bunch of bigger stuff, a bunch of Burlington. I saw Hop Butcher there. Saw some Blazed Orange from Hop Butcher there. So, you know, they get some new school bangers, and they have a bunch of stouts and stuff like that out of Bourbon County you could buy, and just a bunch of different stuff. It's not a ton of refrigeration, so you want to keep that in mind. They have like 2 coolers, hazies. But they have a lot of old school stuff, you know, a lot of like old German stuff, like Weihenstephaner, a bunch of Belgians and things like that. And they had this on singles. You know, it was a little bit pricey there, though. That's the only part that sucks. It was like, I think it was $6 a bottle. This should be like more like $3-4 a bottle. But I was like, you know what? It's been so long since I've had the Krystall Weiss. I can't. It was just so good. Like, I basically think a really nice, well done wheat beer. A little bit of that German vibes, a little bit of banana, nothing too crazy, but hyper crisp and clean. It's like a West Coast version of a wheat beer is kind of how it plays. And it was just so good that I would pop by that place just to buy these, even at that inflated price point. Just because, you know, where I work in Scranton, I would leave work, and sometimes I would go to Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and get my haircut from my barber, and then when I would go home, I would pass this place. So that's why I would pop in. I'd get some other things while I was there, but I would always grab 1 or 2 of these, and then I found a place that sold them cheaper. So I started going there, but it would always be kind of like a staple floating around in my fridge, to where I'm just like, you know, if I just worked, you know, lawnmower beer kind of stuff. I just worked, you know, I'm kind of just want to crack a beer, something crisp and clean, and something that I want to really chug on and do all that kind of stuff. This is kind of the perfect diversion of that beverage, of that kind of beer. You know, to just dive into one of these like that. Good God. Loved it. Yeah. German wheat beer vibes. Super crisp and clean. What more do you want? Okay. Let's do this. Let's pop in this little sidebar here thing. I don't know why I want to click here before I get out of here. Maybe just to kind of soften the blow. So, Weihenstephaner Krystall Weiss. I think that might be number 5. And then we have, looks like we have 20 minutes left, which should be perfect timing. Let me check on where we're at here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. Boom. I love it when a plan comes together. Jump in that chat, yo. I'm Mike. What's going on, Mike? Oh, didn't click. Happy Boxing Day. It's a happy Boxing Day for me. You know why. Arsenal, well-oiled machine right now. It's insane how good Arsenal is. Like, I'm almost scared. Sure. Nottingham, not the biggest, but we suck on the road. We've won two on the road, last 2 on the road, and we won 5-0 today. And it's like everything, like Aubameyang bullshit, everything that's going on. It seems like everything's going right. Like, even like we're not even starting Emile Smith-Rowe, and like that dude is not complaining. He's playing his part. We bring him on every time we bring him on. He just scores again. Oh man, fucking Odegaard looked like fucking Zidane today. You know, it's just Martinelli. Jesus Christ. Anyway, I had a really good Boxing Day. Hopefully you did too. Bill Bach chiming in saying, drinking Crumpsanac from 4 quarters, a Bavarian double Bach. What's everybody else drinking? I'm drinking well-being non-alcoholic beer. That's what I'm drinking. Clayton says, if you want to see Matt's favorite Crusher FL Extra, just reviewed it. Disclaimer, it's fancy, y'all. It is the champagne of beers is what it is. That beer is fantastic. People kind of joke on that, like, no, that beer's great. And Mike is drinking a Dovetail Alt Beer. There you go. Alt Beers. Not the craziest style. One of my favorite beers this year was an Alt Beer, which is kind of crazy. Now, this beer, I drank this beer like criminal, like not criminally, because it's not criminally to drink awesome stuff. Look at my hand. Focus. I goddamn it, I love this beer to no end. This would be Lawson's Scrag Mountain Pils. This is a salt and lime Pilsner from Lawson's. So it's their Scrag Mountain. They make their Scrag Mountain, which is like absolutely 1,000,000,000% is worthy of being on this Shelfie thing. I might have put on last year's. I didn't check. I know I didn't put this one on last year, so I'm putting this one on because it does kind of edge it out a little bit. That combination of this super crisp, clean, well-made Pilsner. Oh, man. It's so good. So good. Like, I don't even want to tell you. Think about the best crisp. Think of like a craft version of Miller High Life, which is the beer we're talking about, in a very, very tasty way, and add a very, very purposeful, meaningful, without being heavy-handed version or additions of salt and lime. It's essentially Gatorade for craft beer in the most tasty, beautiful way. It is beer through and through. It doesn't get too kooky and that lime and salt kind of thing. It doesn't do that. But what it ends up being is, if you were, again, lawnmower beer, want something to chug to refresh yourself, to get those electrolytes, because that's what your body craves, the Brondo. This is going to be the best version of it, at least in an alcoholic format. What was the ABV on this thing? It had to be 4, I hope. You know what? No, I think I'm wrong. I think this ended up being in the 5s. I could be wrong. No, I can't see it. It's not in the front. But regardless, it's just really, really, really good. Like, really good. I don't even know what else to tell you. Just one of the better ones I've had all year. And I would say I bought over a case of this. That's a lot for me. I bought over a case of this. You know? Buy the 4-pack, too. I didn't buy cases. I just, every see it, I grab it. I see it, I grab it. I see it, I grab it. And it was... I might have even, like, fudged this video. I might have drank a 4-pack and said, oh, man, I drank that too fast. I have to go to get another 4-pack to review it. It might have been one of those things where I was like, I bought it, I cracked the can, I meant to review it, and I just drank it way too fast for me to review. That's how good it is. This has got to be... I don't know if this is going to be a seasonal. It's a salt lime, pills. It kind of speaks summer to me, but... I bet you this probably holds up over a bit of time too, but yeah, next year when spring hits and gets a little toasty, this dude will be chugging that. Definitely. Anyway, we are at the 15-minute mark, so we're gonna shut this down. This beer's good. What else do I have to say? Give me that sneak preview. How about that? We just click over here. It makes my life easier. So we got 4 videos left and 15 minutes to do it. I could be a little late to the other one. I'm not worried about it. Let's see. Nate's saying he's drinking a double blaze orange. Guy saying, can't stay long, family gathering moment, but happy holidays, New Year to you. Your family will watch later to see what's what. Thank you very much, Guy, for stopping by. Clayton says, I am drinking my last of my celebration IPAs. You know what the best thing about that? You go buy more, because it's everywhere. Well, lots of Chicago peeps in the chat today, and Clayton saying, but I told myself, if anything pops up that that I have, I'm popping it. Oh, I got you. And there's one I have that I know you love, but I'm not sure made it. And that's the other thing about this. This is not science. I could have totally accidentally skipped a beer. You know, it is what it is, but we'll see what's what. Anyway, on to the next video. On to the next episode, says Dr. Dre. And that would be O'Fallon. Now, we're talking about this well-being being brewed at O'Fallon Brewing. You know, it had it on here. This smoked porter is the best smoked beer I had all year, I think. Maybe not. I mean, Rosh, you know, the Schlinkler, the itty-bitty one, the Schlinkler lager, is always great. But as far as richer, darker smoked beers, there's something about this beer that just tickled me all the fancy. And I just wanted to drink all of it all the time. I found this, oddly enough, when I did last year, Keith and I did a live stream of GABF in the medal ceremony, and this popped up there. And I was like, O'Fallon, you know, I'm like, yeah, we don't get these guys out here. There's no way we're going to be able to try this, because Keith is like, oh, of course, another smoke beer that we'll never get. And then lo and behold, a couple months later, I'm like, why is this on a shelf here in New Jersey? And then boom, I start seeing it all over the place. I can buy this whenever I want now. So it's like one of those things where it's like, you just wish it to become true, and it does. Think about a really rich, slightly bittering, robust porter. Okay. Oh, there's the Rosh beer sticker. See it? It's right on the edge of the bottle. That's the sticker I was looking for. Oh, I threw it out. I threw everything out. Threw my whole bottle shelves out and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, why do I throw out stickers? Stickers are the best. Anyway, it was just, think about it. Rich, robust porter with a really nice, meaningful, but not heavy-handed smoke. Honestly, was just one of the better beers I had all of last year, period. But since it was a Shelfie, it was on his list. It could have been on the other list. Anything on from here up could have been on my best of non-Shelfie list that we're going to be doing after this video. 9 o'clock. So, yeah, pick it up. O'Fallon, like I said, Montana, but we get them out here in Jersey, so I assume a decent amount of you guys can get them. So if you've had this before, you've had anything from O'Fallon, like I said, this is technically the second beer, no, third beer, because I think I reviewed something from O'Fallon that wasn't their smoked porter. It's definitely worth picking up. Time constraints made me move faster. Hey, we got a couple double dips going on the old Shelfies this year. And the other one is the Mosaic Super Session number 8 from Lawsons. God damn, I drank a lot of this beer this year. Low ABV, and just super well done. I think it was 4.7 when I shove it in the screen again. I think no, Lawson's doesn't put the ABV there. It's on the side. That's right. If you can hear me right now, I'd say it. But man, this is by far and away one of my better kind of session jammers that I've had all the year. And just ends up being one of those, okay, 4.8%. You can see it right there. Or I can see it right there. When you guys are watching over here, I have the whole screen over here. It's just a big review for me to watch. And just ended up being something that, again, that place that I was talking about previously in a video where I go there and I'd be like, oh, see if they have anything good. They don't have anything good. Let me pick up the Wallenpaupack Grodziskie. This is that beer for me, but also in everywhere I went, because the Grodziskie would be a couple different places. Like everywhere I went in Jersey, you could find Sip, you could find Super Sessions, and it was a lot of Amarillo and a couple other Super Sessions, but this ended up being, I picked this up in a 4-pack, and I love the crap out of it. And then probably a month or two later, you started seeing this in 12 packs. So they must have been like, okay, people really dig on this, or they just watched my video and are like, God damn, we got to put it out. And then it was just one of those things where I could just pick up pretty much wherever I went, and I did. At first, I was kind of bummed because I was like, man, look at all this old Super Session number 8, and then I started looking at dates, and I'm like, no, they're just pumping this stuff out now. It's not like they came out with one batch. They started ripping and tearing on batches of these, so that made me super, super ecstatic. Just rich, not rich, snappy, sweet, fruit juicy mosaicness, clean, crisp, hyper well made, and super drinkable. What more do you want? What more do you want, baby? Boom. And boom. There we go. So we got 2 more. We got 10 minutes to do it. We could do that. I'll probably run long because that's how I do. Comments. Corbin, ever been to Lily Pad Hop Yard Brewery in East Tennessee? Actually, not only have I not been there, I've never heard of him. He added a question mark, just so you know. And Lieberman, Matt Lieberman said, slugging some Farm Fox Kolsch action, some Treehouse Double IP on deck. Does not suck. Well, it doesn't suck, but it's still the same. And Matt saying, happy holidays, dude. Got to feed up with you and the football team. Cowboys game on. Go Eagles. Yeah, I'm an Eagles fan. I'll say that. I'm a Dolphins fan through and through. But if I'm going to root for any team, more specifically an NFC team, it's going to be the Eagles. I grew up in Pennsylvania. A ton of my friends are Eagles fans, so it's just natural. I've actually been to way more Eagles games than I have been Dolphins games, just from going to football games my whole life and being that I, was an hour and a half away from Philly, but I will go there. So, yeah, let's pop that off. Let's go into review number 2 of the Shelfies. Now, some might say OEC is a little bit of a stretch when it comes to a Shelfie. I'll tell you what. I couldn't find this beer but on a shelf. I'm sure if I went to the brewery I could find it, but I found it on a shelf. It's Shelfie for me. I found it in New Jersey. I found it in Pennsylvania. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it couldn't be had. This beer was so good, I don't even know what to tell you. Think of this has to be part of their. This is part of their Cool Ship lagers, and if you remember last year, I think we did the Cool Ship lager. Me and Keith did it, and that might have been on some kind of best of video. We did their black and their regular kind of Cool Ship lager. That was fantastic. This is like a citron version of that, with I believe there might have been fruit added. I could be wrong, but it was so good, like so good to where I freaked out in this video so much that the guy who basically handles all of OEC's distribution, like, he wrote me on Instagram, not to tell me he enjoyed a video, which he did, and he said, but he said he got pumped about the video and me liking it so much because a lot of people said, oh, I don't think this is really good, or this is not really what OEC does. Like, he was like, I know it's good. I just needed a little bit of validation. Thank you very much for saying that it's really good. And it was so good that I couldn't not stop telling people about this beer. It was just super tasty. Just think about that. It's weird because you get that crisp cleanness of what you expect from a lager. You get this added additional kind of softness with a little bit of fruitiness that you get from the Cool Ship kind of natural occurring Brett in the air. And then, add that kind of citra to it. You're really, from a brewery that knows how to do things, knows how to do all the things, you can be really hard pressed to find something that impressed me that much more that was readily available off the shelf. Like I said, I've found it in multiple places. Again, mileage may vary depending on where you live. OEC is a very small brewery, so it's not like something you could pick up on a reg for most people, but it's a Shelfie for me. That's the only way I got it, was finding it on a shelf. It's not like a super age date kind of shelf turd that I found from decades ago. It can be had. It can be had, and it can be delicious. So yeah, there you go. OEC, man. One of my favorite breweries, to be perfectly honest with you. I gotta get, it's like one of my kind of like, when the pandemic finally cools down in 45 years, I'm definitely gonna bring my middle-aged son Micah there. So it's gonna be pretty fun. Last but not least, if you watch my channel, you don't know what this beer is, then you don't watch my channel, to be perfectly honest with you. So just leave it at that. That would be Jenny Dry Hop Cream Ale. I drank more of this beer last year than I drank of any beer. No. No, that's not true. I drank more Miller High Life than I did this beer. That's probably the only beer I drank more of than this one. Only because this beer, I did not find it until October? No. No. No, I didn't find this beer until like February, I think, of last year. But it came out like in August or something. Like I found it super, super hyper late in the year. Actually, I'll tell you right now when I found it. Because I have the info. Oh, I deleted all the info. God damn it. Yeah, that's my list for people that was curious about it. Yeah, there was a bunch of data over here that told me when I actually posted a review. I forgot I deleted that. Why? Because, I don't know. I like clean Excel sheets. Anyway. This beer was so good. Like, so good. Like, so good. It's not even funny. It was just, it was a lighter, crispier version of the cream ale. And the cream ale is not a heavy, dense beer to begin with, but it was a little bit crispier, a little bit lighter. And it was dry hopped in such a cool, melon, fruity kind of way that it honestly just, it blew my socks off as a beer. Not just a cheap beer, not as a Shelfie beer, none of that. It's just that good. You know what I mean? It's just that good. And here's the worst part about this. And this is I know this through research. So it's not me just speaking out of my butthole. This year's version's not good. To a certain extent. The hop this year's with, I believe it was Cascade or Centennial, is West Coast, Pacific Northwest hops. Fine. I'm fine with it. There's a ridiculous inconsistency with this year's batch of dry hop cream ale. And I didn't say anything about it for a while. So it came out in October, right before I stopped doing my beer reviews. And I was going to do a re-review of it, but I was like, I had a couple and I was like, what's going on here? And I bought, I bought 2 cases of it. So I got 4 12-packs. Oh. And I gave some to friends and, that kind of stuff. You just push it around. Not only was there a massive inconsistency in the beer, it was within each case, or each half case, 12-pack. Or, like, I would drink one and it'd be great. I drink one and it'd be okay. I drink one and it'd be really bad. And I drink one and it'd be great. Drink one and it'd be great. And I drank 3 and it'd be bad. And I drink inside its own case. It was super bizarre. And at first I was like, am I going crazy? And then I mentioned it in a group chat with all the guys that I typically mention, the Nerds and FLX, all those guys. And the people that had it, Keith, 93 Lumber, and FLX guys, which had it, were like, you know what? You're right. They're like, when you said that, at first I was like, what's he talking about? And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, you're right. And they kind of affirmed what I was thinking. And it's a shame. Now, I'm not sitting here and saying, it's not a good beer. The last years I didn't get until it was already several months old. It came out in August. I don't think I got it until at least 4 or 5 months later, and was still drinking really, really well. And I'm just going to talk about what I did last year, which is a fantastic beer. Now, if you go for this year's, curious, really, really curious about what you guys think. About this year's. If you had last year's, let me know what you thought about that. But if you've had this year's, please let me know what you thought of this year's too, because I'm really curious to see how you guys have dealt. That's not the right word. Have felt. There you go. It rhymes. Felt about this year's version, because last year was bonkers good to the point where I kind of think I moved a bunch of Jenny cream ale for Jenny. Dry hop Jenny cream. I think I should probably get kickbacks from them about how much I talked about this beer. But it is fantastic, and when it's on, it's one of the better, not just better tasting little dry hop jammers, little crusher dry hop, but price point. Let's put it this way. I bought 2 12-packs of this year. So a case, 24 cans. The best price I found was, I got a case of it for $16 and change. 16 American dollars for this beer. If it's on and it's $16 a case, then That should be illegal. That's how good it is. There you go. There's your Shelfies, man. That's my Shelfies for the year. Again, like, your mileage may vary when it comes to these. It might be something you can get a ton of. Might be something you might not, depending on where you live. But for me, these are the beers I could get. These are the beers I drank. These are the beers I loved. There you go. And with that, it is 8:59. So we're gonna cut out here. We're gonna cut it out of here. And we're going to bounce on over to that new stream. It'll be going up in a couple seconds. It's 9 o'clock on the nose, so I got to get that rolling. And we are going to do my top 20 beers of the year. I put this together extremely haphazardly, so I'm sure I missed something, but it is what it is. I preload all these videos. I didn't do that yet with these, so I'm going to start that video feed, and we'll do a little chat while I preload all these videos up. Actually, you know what? I could do it per video. We don't have to preload anything. I know how to do this. So, like I said, we're going to end this. We're going to jump over to the best of. This is going to be 20. My top 20 favorite beers. Not I had last year. Keep that in mind. You need to remember that. It's not the best beers I had last year. It's the best beers I reviewed last year. Minus mystery beers. And homebrew. Because some mystery beers could have been on there. So, yeah. We'll see you guys over there. Hop on over there. We'll see what's on. Oh, before I leave. Clayton said, I knew it. By the way, I drink the High Life when camping, usually, or Natterdays. Love me some Natterdays, brother. See you over on a new feed, guys. Cheers.